Number 39 on page 107 looks like this. So it wants the limit, the two-sided limit as x approaches 0 for 3 plus arctan 1 over x. It's got a little brain thing here because we could solve this by just kind of thinking about what's happening at 1 over x. And as a two-sided limit, as we approach x equals 0 of 1 over x, it's from one side it's approaching positive infinity, and from the other side it's approaching negative infinity. Well, if that's the case, there is no limit. This value 1 over x is going to two different values, infinity and negative infinity. Well, the limit can't exist, so we can't. The answer should be E. Okay, it can't be any of these values. So this can be analyzed though as a one-sided limit. So we should really look at what would happen if I was to look at this from a one-sided limit perspective. So this is not the question that it's asking, but let's take a look at it as x approaches 0 from the positive side. Well, as x approaches 0 from the positive side, 1 over x does have a limit. It's going to positive infinity. So this is what's happening here. So that means then that we can analyze the arctan of 1 over x as it approaches 0 from the positive side. And if we look at the arctan function is this function here. It has a horizontal asymptote at pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. And as x approaches positive infinity, the graph of arctan approaches pi over 2. So this value then, as long as we're doing it as a one-sided limit, 1 over x is approaching infinity, yeah. This value arctan, the angle is approaching pi over 2. So then the limit becomes 3 plus pi over 2. And that's where answer C comes from. It's actually a one-sided limit answer. What's happening on the other side as x approaches 0 from the negative side? We end up with 3 plus arctan 1 over x. Well, as x approaches negative infinity from the other side, it's looking like this. It's approaching negative pi over 2. So as x goes out to infinity, the y value approaches negative pi over 2. So this value here becomes negative pi over 2. So the limit then is equal to square root of 3 minus pi over 2. So which is the answer B. So the answer, these one-sided limits can be evaluated, and from the positive side it's going to end up being this one here, 3 plus pi over 2 square root. And if I approach it from the negative side, I'm going to negative infinity, which means my arctan is going to negative infinity. Well, that value is approaching then negative pi over 2, so we get B.